Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's 11:30 and welcome to Illuminations and our cooking demonstration. It's always a pleasure for me to introduce the two gentlemen. They are our two demonstration chefs in our demonstration chef's galley, which is on deck 7. They cook there every night, and 32 people sit down for dinner every evening and watch the demonstration, and which is commentated on, as they're going to do here this morning. And it's a battle of the giants today because, first of all, a nice hand for Craig Morgan from Sydney, Australia. And Sidwell Yarrow is from South Africa, so it's South Africa against Australia. Give him a nice hand.
Thanks, Ray. Yep. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are we? Or as I say, so you can do this as well, being Australian. Is there any Australians in? Oh, come on, you're normally louder than that. Can everyone feel Australian right now and shout out, "G'day, chefs"? G'day. That's not bad.
That's the best one so far.
Yeah, just good morning, and so just an introduction of what we're going to do. We're going to be producing 2 dishes today. The one I'm going to be doing today is a rack of lamb with trio salad with a sauce roux. And that dish is actually from the Todd English menu that I'll be doing today. And Sidwell's going to go through what he's going to be doing as well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to you. I'll be doing a marinated duck, which will be marinated in a type of citrus and vanilla marinade. And I'll be serving that with wild mushroom sauce, as well as a rusty potato and some sauteed spinach with that. So I'm going to start off by...
You have more to do than me, so I'll let you start.
All right. I'm going to start off by marinating my duck. And for that, I'm going to use some juice of 1 orange, some honey. I'm going to use vanilla pod and some fresh thyme, olive oil, and then a little bit of salt and pepper. So what I'm going to do, I got a nice duck breast over here, and with the skin on. So I'm just going to start scoring the skin. Reason for scoring the skin is duck has a lot of fat underneath the skin, so you want all those natural flavors and natural fat from the duck to come out. And I'm just making like a little bit of scores on the skin, so I'm not cutting it straight through the skin, just until it reaches the meat. And then I'm going to season with a little bit of salt and pepper on both sides. And I'm just going to rub it in lightly. Now for our marination, we are going to use...
mention, speaking of rubbing it in, New Zealand hammered South Africa in the rugby yesterday.
All right, don't rub it in. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to marinate that with, as I said, just a half orange for this one. A little citrusy flavor to that. And now if you marinate duck or any kind of poultry meat and you are using something sweet like honey, do not cover the skin part with this with the honey, because of you're going to seal the meat in the pan, and the sugar from the honey will actually start to burn on the skin part. So the skin part is going to be our presentation side, so we are not going to marinate the skin part. So I'm just going to lift this up and just take out some of the honey and put it on just the flesh side. And just going to rub it in on that. Don't rub it in, huh?
19-0.
All right. And together with that, I'm just going to get some fresh thyme and just pull the leaves off. And we're also going to add that to the marination, as well as a little bit of olive oil. So now usually you would do this for, I'd say, maybe 2 or 3 hours before you cook it. But as for the demonstration, I'm just going to do it right now and cook it as well. So with the vanilla bean, I'm just going to slat it open, and then I'm going to try and get all the nice vanilla pod out of there and put it in our marination. Now vanilla pod is actually quite expensive, so you want to get most of the seeds out of there and use it in your marination. And then I'm going to get a pan on, and we are going to seal the meat And we're going to do a presentation side first, so which will be the skin part, and give it a nice golden brown color on both sides for approximately 2 to 3 minutes, and then we're going to finish it off in the oven for approximately 7 to 8 minutes, or any temperature that you would like. Now, you can eat duck medium rare. It's safe to do it, but a lot of people do it well done as well. And it's much better to do it that way. Nice and tender meat, flavorful. So we're just going to get a pan on nice and hot, and I'm going to add some olive oil to that, and then I'm going to start searing the meat. And I'll hand it over to Craig, and he can start with this.
Groovy. Okay, so what we're going to start with first, for my one, is the rack of lamb itself. Naturally, because the meat takes the longest to cook, and simple fact is I'm doing it with salads, so we don't have to cook anything else. So what we're using here, this is known as a double bone lamb rack, which means you get the meat on both sides of a bone twice. So that's the idea there. And what we're doing, so you'll always find there'll be about 3 to 4 bones on the rack. And what we've done here is already pre-marinated. Because I'm lazy, being Australian, actually I'd class it as efficient, I think we are. What we've done, I actually got the guys up in Todd English to marinate this for me already. So cheers, Alex, up there. And what we've marinated the lamb in, because ours is more of an oil-based, and we need the herbs to get into the meat. What we've used here is I've done just a mixture of, well, I haven't, just a mixture of some fresh parsley, some rosemary, a little bit of garlic, and then that's rubbed in, blended up with a little bit of oil and just rubbed in over the meat. So similar to like a salsa verde, if anything. And so what we're going to do is actually cut the bone out, but not in a good bad way. We're going to keep it as well. So what we're doing is just running the knife down, but angling the blade into the bone, so we're keeping as much of the meat for us as possible. So just like so. And off goes the bone. Now, don't throw this away because we're going to cook this as well. And that's going to act as a bit of garnish. So we just got the loin of the lamb, and that's where we're at. So similar to like if you had rib fillet of beef, this is the size that it is on a lamb. And I've already got my pan preheating while I was waiting for Sidwell's speech. And just a dash again. Now, the reason we preheat pans is because we want to get a good seal on it. And the reason for that is it seals in all the juices and the flavors. Juice means flavor, and that's what we're after as much as possible. And so with a nice hot pan already, it's going to sizzle straight away. So that's going. And we also put the bone in. Now I'm going to cook this to about a medium rare. And so that's going to take a bit. So what we'll do normally is now seal all the sides and then place that in a preheated oven, normally about 160 degrees centigrade, which is about 320, if you have a look at your conversion sheets, 320 Fahrenheit. And for medium rare with this one, once it's all sealed, you don't need it for about 4 minutes for about medium rare. If you're a person that likes a bit more, you're looking about 6 to 7 for medium, about 8 to 9 minutes for medium well, and about 10 to 12 minutes for well done. That's after we've sealed it, so when we're getting the nice colors. So I'm going to leave that go for a bit, and Sidwell's got something else to go into now.
All right, so I'm busy caramelizing our meat or sealing it on both sides, and I'm going to start with the second part of the dish, which would be our potato rosti. So right here I got a nice medium-sized potato already peeled, and I'm just going to grate this on very fine side of the grater. Now, potato has a lot of starch and water in it, so the idea is here, after you grate it, to squeeze some of the water out of it, because you want the potato, when you going to see it in the pan, you want it actually to have a nice golden brown color. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take over the potato like this, and I'm just going to squeeze it out. We got a little bucket over here, don't worry.
This always looks suspicious. What's he got behind there?
All right, so I got all the water out of it now, and this I'm just going to mix together with a little bit of some chopped chives, a little bit of chopped bacon, and then I'm also going to add approximately 1 egg yolk to it. Now, depending on the amount of potato you're making, the more egg you can add to it. The egg just helps to bind the potato together, and then we're going to add a little bit of cornstarch, about a teaspoon of cornstarch to that. So it also helps with the crispiness of the potato. And I'm also going to add a little bit of creme fraiche. Now, if you don't have creme fraiche, you can use sour cream as well. And I'm just going to give it a nice mix. And then we're going to seal this as well in the pan. Give it a nice golden brown color on each side. Now, depending on, obviously, the size that you want to make, you're going to make small ones, you're going to have to flatten it out pretty good. So the reason for that is, if you're going to make a thick cake, your potato will be golden brown on both sides, but it will be moist on the inside, and it will be soggy. The reason for that is you want to get it nice and crispy on the inside and the outside as well. That's a main reason for a rosti. So I'm just going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to this. And you can add a little bit of nutmeg too if you like. And we got a nice hot pan going up there. And I'm just going to add a touch of olive oil to that. And then we're going to take our potato. Now you can use a cake ring or cookie cutter to shape it out if you want to be fancy. And I'm just going to use my handy or back of a spoon to do that. And we're going to give it a good sear on both sides.
This is more of the rustic style.
Yeah. Yes, you're going to get nice, flatten it out nice so that you can get nice golden brown color, and also it's going to be nice and dry on the inside. All right, well, this is going. I can hand you over to Craig and he'll do the second part of his.